Netflix's Squid Game may belong in the same genre as Battle Royale, Survivor, The Hunger Games, and Black Mirror, but there is something unique about what it exposes about human nature. While Battle Royale captured the same need to survive, Squid Game distinguishes itself with its social commentary, as unlike the other stories of a similar ilk, the characters technically have a choice. As if the majority of players agree to forfeit their potential prize money, they can stop the game and leave with nothing. And given it's a win or die situation, the players do initially vote out of the game to perceived safety, in what can only be described as an amusing sequence, mocking modern democracy, that no matter how absurd the proposition, once it's a binary choice with an incentive in place, that people will still somehow be divided. But after having another painful dose of reality, they decide the normal game of life outside the Squid Game is just as ruthless, filled with gambling, crippling hospital bills, and the threat of debt collectors. Except out here, they have no chance to win big. So they decide to play the game again, each person secretly believing that they're not like everybody else, and will find a way to win. In essence, Squid Game is a dark metaphor for the worst excesses of modern capitalism, comparing it to gambling with your life, as the financially bankrupt players are motivated by the dangled carrot of the piggy bank loaded with cash prizes that looms over the dormitory. Once any player is eliminated, their portion of the prize money goes into the pot for the winners. This means you're incentivized for others around you to fail in order for you to succeed, which puts two powerful human instincts in direct conflict: the desire to work together and the desire to take all the reward for yourself. The participants are stripped of their identity, placed in a uniform, and given a number, symbolizing they're a citizen of this financial system, which is allegedly all about fairness and equal opportunity. Even the colored staircase sequences mirror the same patterns of the modern rat race, as we all wake up and go play whichever game we choose to play in order to survive. The rulers of the game, and the show itself, puts a heavy focus on the free will of the players to participate. But it begs the question that with such coercion involved, when without money their lives are too painful, stressful, and meaningless, that they are intellectually compromised by the incentive structure of the world around them, as they can't think beyond their immediate needs.
Not a single one of you trusted us, but as you all know, we played a game, and as we promised, gave you money when you won. And suddenly, everyone here trusted us.
Now, if all of that sounds a little too bleak and divorced from how monetary systems actually work, there are still entertaining and thought-provoking lessons throughout the games that teach us about incentives, meaning, and the ruthlessness of individuals in life and death situations. In the second game, where Cho Sang-woo remembers the childhood game they're about to play for the honeycomb test, due to his incentive to eliminate as many players as possible, despite being childhood friends, he doesn't give Song Ji-hun any tips to help him win.
Nothing.
Having any insider knowledge is a currency in itself, and you have to be careful who you share it with. This decision revealed that Cho Sang-woo was ultimately only in it for himself, and lacked any empathy for anyone else playing, viewing himself as more important. We see the same situation play out with the doctor, when he trades his medical skills to gain an advantage by the workers telling him what the next task will be. This is the equivalent of insider trading, which helps the doctor cheat by selecting the right types of teammates over the next few tasks. However, once he's caught doing this, he's eliminated, and his body is presented to the other players as a demonstration to the ideology of fairness and equal opportunity.
Each and every one of you is considered an equal. You must be guaranteed the same opportunities without being disadvantaged or facing any kind of discrimination.
In episode 4, the players discover that when they kill one another outside the game, that there is no punishment. It just adds the eliminated player's share to the overall winner's prize. This incentive changes the game entirely, as it's as if the game never ends. What was once about finding a way to complete a task now turns into vicious tribalism, where the strong will devour the weak, demonstrating the need for law and order, as without it, with these incentives, there would be a total breakdown of civilization. This makes the players not only view one another as competitors, but enemies, which perfectly sets them up for the next game, Tug of War, where teams of 10 now literally force their opposition to fall to their death. This game showcases the risk of business and team situations, that you're only as strong as your weakest links and need a solid strategy to survive, as your competitors are trying to knock you out to reap the rewards for themselves. In the fourth game, it's revealed that the players must split into teams of 2. With the threat of death on the table, manners go out the window, and it comes down to brass tacks. What skills to survive do you actually bring to the table? With an uneven number of players remaining, it's assumed that the unchosen player will be eliminated by default. As in hunter-gatherer times, those abandoned by their tribe would likely not survive alone. Not wanting to be responsible for the death of the old man, Song Ji-hun picks him, as they've already emotionally connected. Most men are picking other men, after the Tug of War game revealed that strength is an advantage. When Min Young realizes no one wants her as a partner, as she revealed herself as untrustworthy in the past, she panics and starts using everything she can think of to secure a partner. First, her sexuality.
Then I'll be your dream girl all night long.
Then guilt. Then as she gets more desperate, she switches to emotional reasoning.
Girls, we need to stick together!
And finally, bitterness and manipulation, to sow distrust amongst other teams. In this moment, it shows us that when the chips are down, there's nothing someone won't try or say in order to survive. But the game is ruthless, and as it turns out, the person you selected as your partner, who you have likely bonded with in the hopes you can survive together, is actually your rival, as only one of you can win. The players now have to emotionally adapt to the harshness of the task. This results in some players trying to decipher whose life has more value, with some choosing to sacrifice themselves, as they believe their value comes from what they contribute to those around them, and therefore they don't have enough reason to live. Which shows the warm, honorable, and social aspect of human nature, the desire to connect and value one another. But this task also brings out the very worst, with Cho Sang-woo using his family as the reason he deserves to live. But it turns out they both have families in need, so it comes down to personal ethics. The slower you are to adapt and accept the elimination of your friend, the worse your odds of survival become. Wanting to find a way to outsmart the system to save you both creates an emotional blind spot that leaves you open to being cheated. The lesson being that in a cutthroat game with only one winner, emotional attachments and ethics are weaknesses. In Game 5, the VIPs arrive to watch the surviving players try to cross the bridge in order of their selected number. They each selected their number blindly, with most choosing a middle number out of fear of being on either of the fringes.
Animal instinct. When faced with danger, seek refuge in the herd.
The game involves choosing one of 2 panels of glass to jump to. One is thin and will break, resulting in your death. The other is strong and can hold the weight of 2 people. In essence, the game is a metaphor for standing on the shoulders of giants. As time ticks by, the first few players' sacrifices are what helps the next generation survive. At a certain point, each player must risk their own life to help teach lessons to those coming up behind them. But Yang Juk-soo refuses. He's actually too cowardly to make a choice, hoping to survive on the bravery and sacrifices of those that have come before him. Despite surviving with his moral compass still intact, Song Ji-hun finds life after the Squid Game meaningless, as his mother passed away while he was too busy playing, showing us that the only currency that truly matters is the time you have with your loved ones, that everything in life is a trade-off, as the opportunity cost of working all the time to become rich means less time with those you care about. But humans are forced to find a delicate balance, as if you don't earn enough money, then you cannot sustain yourself or the relationships around you. It's summed up by the old man.
What someone who doesn't have any money has in common with someone with too much money. Living is no fun for either of them.
Life is about balance, having enough to survive comfortably so you can live well with those you find comforting. Despite the absurdity and brutality of the game, a lot of the characters still formed real human connections with one another throughout, unable to hide their true colors of whether they're warm-hearted or cold-blooded. And most found much more meaning and happiness in working together than when they had to make the selfish choice of just looking out for themselves. As Squid Game emphasizes the difference between just surviving and living, as it's not the achievement of the goal that gives our life meaning, but the journey, the obstacles we overcome and the people we meet along the way. And without anyone around who you shared those experiences with, the prize is ultimately hollow, as all you've proven is that you may know how to win, but not how to play. Well, you've made it this far, so you might as well like, comment and subscribe to help get this channel to the next level.